So what we're going to do now is give you an example of what you might want to do with the scissors and paceometer to try to use it in your research or to help you explain newspaper articles in your teaching. So first I've gone to scissorsandpace.net and I found essentially a random article within the collection. I basically looked up something I knew and kept hitting subsequent articles in order to find something I hadn't seen before, just to give you the best, most random example I could. And where I landed was the Freeman's Journal of February 3rd, 1830 on page 3. Now if we look at these results to begin with, we can see a couple of different things. First, we have the page previously appeared in section, and that gives us 6 different newspaper pages. And what this basically means is something on this page, something of at least 120 words, also appeared in these 6 pages on a date earlier than February 3rd, 1830. Now that's not a whole lot of information to go on, but if you had a newspaper, if you had an article you were already looking for, it would probably be enough to get you started. So just from what I know about this collection and these different newspapers, I can make a couple of assumptions, maybe true, maybe false, about these results. Now the Freeman Journal is a newspaper in Dublin, and some of these are from places outside London as well. We have the North Wales Chronicle. Now these 2 newspapers are likely to have had some kind of shipping connection between them, but it's also entirely possible that they are including information that they've received from a third-party source, a separate article they both received. And one of those places that they might have both received information from is London. Now, although London was not the only source of information, there's a lot of two-way information going back and forth. Most of the newspapers that are in this British Library newspaper collection from London are dailies, which means there's a lot of news coming out, as opposed to some of the papers outside London, which are 2 or 3 times a week. And so they're conglomerating lots of different news from different days and different London and provincial newspapers. So when I look at these, I see 3 different pages from the Morning Chronicle and the Times of London, and this gives me an indication that the Freeman's Journal has received a couple of newspapers from London, it's read through them, and it's taken out the bits they found most relevant from a couple of different days, the 30th of January and the 1st of February. Now I don't know for sure what these are, but it's a good indication that these are either international news stories that appeared in London or London and Royal News. Now, this section here, the page simultaneously appeared in, gives you information about something that appeared on the 3rd of February in Dublin, and on the 3rd of February also appeared in Aberdeen and Derby. Now, this is most likely going to be a national advertisement, maybe the lottery or a patent medicine, or a international or national news story, maybe something that appeared in London or something that's been going around the country. And it's just a coincidence it appeared on the same day. Now, it obviously isn't a reprint of the Freeman's Journal or vice versa, because no travel is quite that fast to get from Aberdeen to Freeman's Journal in Dublin in less than a day. The content also subsequently appeared in the Morning Chronicle and the Ipswich Journal. Now, the Ipswich Journal does a lot of reprinting. It has lots of reciprocal agreements, so it tends to have a lot of news from places like Dublin, from Scotland, and all over England and internationally. So this doesn't really surprise me that there's a connection with the Ipswich Journal. The Morning Chronicle is really interesting, and that could be one of 2 things. It could either be Dublin news appearing down in London a few days later, or it could be a Morning Chronicle advertisement, something that appeared regularly in London, also appeared in Freeman's Journal, and then it appeared again in London, completely separate from why it appeared in Dublin. So that'll be interesting to sort of find out what that is. So now that I have this information, what do I do with it? Well, I have to simply browse to find what I'm looking for. So let's look for the Freeman's Journal itself. We go over to the British Library collection, and as we go over to the British Library newspaper collection webpage, we're presented with the basic search. Now, if we were looking for a specific newspaper article, we might search for keywords. Now, the reason the scissors and paceometer is so useful is that the optical character recognition that lies behind the newspaper search is not always 100% accurate. In fact, it's sometimes really, really bad. So what is helpful is to know in general, in big chunks of text, not just a few words, where matches are occurring. And that's what the scissors and paceometer provides you. So we're not going to use the basic search. We're not going to look for any keywords. We're going to actually look for the page itself. So we go to Browse Publications by Location, and we're presented with a list of all the different newspapers that are in this collection. Now we skip on down past London and the rest of England and go to Ireland, Dublin, and there's the Freeman's Journal. Now once we get here, we are given a choice of dates to click on. Now we don't need 1900, we need 1830. And we click on that and give it a moment to load. It always wants to load up January 1st, and then click on February. Now February has about 12.5 different issues, and we're looking for the 3rd. And we click on there. And then we're presented with a division of different articles. Now we don't know which article we want, so we want to browse the issue instead. Just click on the first browse issue we see, and we're looking for page 3. So this up here will take you article by article, but we want to go page by page down here. And we go to page 2 and page 3. Now, according to Gale, there are 4 different articles, but try as they might, that's probably not very accurate. So let's enlarge the page and see what we actually have here. Okay, so let's have a quick rundown of the different articles we might be looking for. Got some fashion news, a theater debut, a little bit on Paris theaters, water information, a little bit of statistical inquiry. I always love these. Moving over to the next couple of columns, a memorial to magistrates, Venice declared a port city, a new university in New York. Even if I'm not saying them all out loud, I am looking at all of these. A sentimental elegy, a little bit of poetry in all of these newspapers. Elopement from Calais, a little bit of a sensational story. Old and new style, a lot of fashion on this page. A curious will, the amount of tea being consumed in the country, always important to know. A publication on Lord Byron, a bit of a story on a funeral, and cheerfulness, a great source of health, and finally, a little bit of an anecdote here. So we've got quite a lot of miscellany in this articles that are presented on the 3rd of February. So now our trick is to find out where we can see these other places. So we open up another Browse Publications by Location and open this as a new tab, so we're not losing this newspaper in case we have to go back and forth. Now this time we're going to be looking instead for one of these newspapers, and let's just go for the earliest just to make things a little bit more straightforward. Wales, and we go to Bangor and the North Wales Chronicle. And again, we're looking for 1830, but this time we're looking for the 21st of January. Oh, there's only 4 issues. That makes things a little bit simpler. Browse issues once again, and this time we're looking for page 1, right there. Enlarge the page. Now, page 1 for these are generally speaking advertisements. I don't remember seeing any advertisements in the Freeman's Journal, but let's see if we can find anything anyways. So, ships crossing, always this nice little image to help you catch the eye. Notice to credits and debitors. A little bit of information on some sort of product. Liquid in bottles and paste blacking in pots. Yes, that's quite a common type of advertisement. Sold by private contract, blacking, more ships, domestic intelligence. Okay, so there isn't actually that many adverts on this page. Let's see if we can find. These are quite small little snippets. And there we go. Cheerfulness, a great source of health. So there we go. So this newspaper article here, it's about a paragraph long, and you can see it actually has a tagline. It came from the Oracle of Health, which is a national publication. And does the Freeman Journal give the same byline, or does it give no byline at all? Oracle of Health as well. So there you go. Using scissors and paste, you can try to find small articles, something about 100, 150 words and larger, between these 2 different collections. Now, we don't have a copy of the Oracle of Health, but Google Books and the archive of the internet are out there, so let's give that a try next time. Thanks very much, and I hope you found this helpful.